All right, man. I've got about 5 minutes left, so I got to run through these little stories a little bit fast. This past week, last week actually, the USA Rugby Hall of Fame announced their class of 2024. They announced 8 new players and coaches to be able to enter into the class of 2024. I thought this was great. You guys can check out the full thing over at what was it? At usrugbyfoundation.org. But I wanted to mention a couple people that really stood out to me that I thought was really important. Number one is Victoria Folayan. Not only, if you guys don't know, Victoria Folayan was, before Naya Tapper came in, easily the best USA women's rugby sevens player ever. All right. Aliv Kelter has kind of came through and beat some of the scores, but Naya was the one that beat her try score. Not only is Victoria Folayan, or AKA Vix Fly, one of the ones that had been an absolute mentor and inspiration to watch. She was literally my very first interview with any USA Rugby or any international player ever, way back in 2013. When I was first starting. I always give her a lot of credit. Also, she's Nigerian fam, and she has been a consistent force, still working with USA Rugby. I was really sad whenever she essentially retired after the 2016 Olympics. I really thought that we'd get a couple more years of her, or at least get one more in, but I guess, time kicks in. It's expensive, and support was difficult. But shout out to Vix Fly for this one. I think that one of the most deserving people to be able to get this, and I think that makes her the second Black woman in the USA Rugby Hall of Fame. Shout out to Phaedra Knight being, I think, the first one. So I really think that this is a major deal, and I'm glad that they recognized her for being in there. The other one is Mike Tolkien. If you guys don't know, he was the USA Rugby 15's head coach. Again, whenever we entered in, he was, I think, one of the first American ones to be there. And his tenure wasn't the greatest, but it was literally more successful than we've had in the last few years. We took on an Ireland team and played them close. We took a Scotland team and almost beat them in Houston. Like, it wasn't a bad campaign. It just, it didn't match up, but, I think he's now working with PR7s, and he's been a big force, but he's been one of the nicest people. Another guy who's been a great interviewee. I loved what he's done out with New York. He had definitely like the American Rugby Story classic. And, I'm glad that they finally put him in because he genuinely deserves it for shifting a lot of the attention at the high school as well as the international men's play as well. So shout out to the total class of 2024, included Louis Stanfield and a slew of other people that I don't really know that well. But yeah, like I said, you can check them out at usarugbyfoundation.org. All right. We got some extras. I'm not even going to do ads. All right. One other person I want to be able to do shout outs for, Cisco Lopez and Kate Roche, who are major referees here in the U.S., were announced to be part of the Olympic rugby referee squad. I think it makes them one of the first Americans to finally get on that and get the respect. Cisco out of Florida, been doing so many games, known him since at least 2019, and even consistently, knew about him a little bit beforehand. When you talk about a guy who's worked from the bottom up and has been a great consistent force at the referee level, been a great ref, absolute shout out, absolute blessings, absolute congrats to him. Kate Roche, I don't know her as well, unfortunately, just a little bit outside my range, but she has been a major worker in refereeing as well. And congrats to both of them. That's exactly what you want to be able to see, and that's how you grow the game. Put more credibility on the U.S. It's not just what happens for the players, but what happens as an industry in general. Next up, I just wanted to throw out Madagascar women got qualified for the WXV3. A big deal, because I had been shouting out from the mountaintop, watch out for Madagascar, the country as a total program, Madagascar and Uganda. These are two programs that have wildly impressive talent at rugby, are wildly more strategic at rugby. And this Madagascar women that absolutely killed it during the Africa Cup tournament a couple weeks ago are getting their just dues to play in the next level of league that allows them to be able to shine and get a bigger stage I hope that they absolutely show out in this one because they deserve it. I hope they get the funding that they need to be able to show out because that's where it was really going to be weak for them. But yo, I love what they've been able to do. And then also shout out to Canada. Canada's little brother, little sister. But in rugby, they definitely own us in so much because they got moved into the WXV1 and because of the Pacific Four Nations, like, yo, give them the shout out. Like, I didn't think anybody was going to be able to move into that for another 2 or 3 years. But, yo, for them to be able to get in, that's a really big deal. They get to play with the likes of New Zealand, England, France, and all them major hub stuff. So North America pride, but, I really want the U.S. to keep improving. We really need to get our athletes up. But
don't you love a great ketogenic family? My name is GiftTime. I'm here with Health Enhanced Food. I wanted to talk to you about one of our top baking mixes, and that is our ketogenic baking mixes. We got our ketogenic seed baking mix, our ketogenic almond baking mix, and of course, our ketogenic coconut baking mix. Now, what is so important about it being ketogenic? Now, for those who don't know, ketogenic means that it is utilizing low carbs to be able to eat from. The point of it is so that your body will naturally activate burning from your fat and be able to sustain off your proteins rather than feeding your body carbohydrates and your body simply burning that and you just don't lose weight. And so whenever you're doing that process, it's incredibly difficult. And of course, you're always going to have a craving for wanting to eat the breads and the carbs that you typically would have. With our keto baking mixes, you can have the pancakes, the waffles, the cookies, the cakes, the pizza crust that you absolutely desire without sacrificing the work, your diet, and obviously the results that you are trying to get. All our ketogenic baking mixes are gluten-free, grain-free, plant-based, and absolutely loaded with natural vitamins and minerals. We want to make sure that they are low net carb, they have no added sugar, they are protein rich, they have good healthy fats, but even more importantly, they have a low glycemic level. So for those who are diabetic and you're also still trying to find something, we have the baking mixes that are for you. And I'm sure you're wondering, why make 3 versions of them if they all are basically doing the same thing? Well, we wanted to make sure, as always, that we are trying to specialize to your dietary need. So with our ketogenic coconut, we wanted to give you a version that allows you to have a sweeter bread without sacrificing your diet. But it provides you things that you can make with your cakes, you can make your cookies, but you can be able to not have to lose your mind trying to find things that can satiate the taste without ruining your diet. With our ketogenic almond baking mix, that is one that has probably the highest protein content. It allows you to be able to control your blood sugar levels, reduce your blood pressure, lower cholesterol levels, and of course, it goes to promoting weight loss and being able to control the hunger. And for our ketogenic seed, this is for those who have a nut allergy and they can't take anything like the almonds. So we want to give them still the same thing. You can still make your bread, you can still make your pizza crust, you can still make your cakes and your buns and your muffins, but you don't have to worry about having an allergic reaction. You definitely can go check out the ketogenic line of products at healthenhancedfoods.com. Go ahead, keep up with your diet, get the foods that are necessary to keep you going, and let's get the results that you absolutely deserve. Let's go.